Okay, and mic check is good? Mic check is great. Okay. Well, here we go, fixing our flows. I've got my notes. Sorry, we're totally impromptu today. Hi, my name is Sarah Elledge, and I'm with Fix My Flows. And I help accountants, CPAs, bookkeepers, and some small business owners who are service providers fix their operational headaches. Fix my flows. We're focusing on the whole complete system, not just the individual pieces of tech. It's how everything works together. So I planned on having a guest, but it's day one and we just finished our community session. So you're gonna get me raw, live, unfiltered, and we'll just see where the conversation takes us. The theme today is gonna be why you have to have workflows in your business that work. You have workflows in your business. You have operations, you have processes and systems, whether you like it or not. Now, do they work efficiently is a separate question that I can typically help you alleviate some of that pressure that you might be feeling. Okay, so service providers, content creators, we're here at FinCon, and a lot of the people that I'm running into are talking about how they have really good ideas about either content that they want to create or a course that they want to produce. Maybe they want to launch a new service offering and we're moving into a group or one-on-one. And they're just like, I don't know how to actually get that executed in a way that preserves my sanity and gets the information out to the people that I actually want to find it. There's no more shooting in the dark anymore. The content creator game has been saturated. And so people really want to see that you know about your offer and your audience and your specific zone of genius. And I think a lot of people just forget that they didn't sign up to be content creators, but that is 100% how they have to move the traction and the momentum in their business to get clients. So if you've got all these ideas swimming around, but you don't have a clearly outlined idea to publish workflow, you are gonna have less success getting your amazing ideas out to the people who are looking for them. We're also looking at, constantly reacting to the algorithm changes, to the new trending reel, to the whatever is happening in the social media land. And while it can be beneficial to jump on these trends and, ride a few waves. But if you've never actually made an Instagram remix, or if you've never actually made an Instagram reel or a story or whatever it is, then you're less likely to, again, get that idea out into the world and published. And then we have just the client delivery work. I think most service providers, content creators are going to say that I don't have time to create content because I'm so deep in delivery. Well, yes and no. And I think a lot of that has to do with how you've set up your content delivery system. are you debriefing yourself to get the struggles and the wins out of the client delivery work you did today so that you can get some posts out there that are social proof, testimonials, all the things? So we're addressing today that hustle does not equal growth. And the reality is, if you're hustling without good systems, you're on your way to burnout. It's not an if, it's a when. Okay, so I just want to scroll through the agenda real quick. I just want to name some of these sessions that they've got lined up for the week, because last year they started to really touch on what the future of finance content creating looks like. But this year they're going hardcore, all in. We've got one later today, how AI saves me 10 plus hours each week. Fun fact, I have an implement AI in your delegation workflow webinar on October 22nd, and I will be showing you how to save yourself 10 hours a week with AI, with just one GPT. Grow your list, 10 plus realistic, rapid fire ways to get more email. You bet your bottom dollar they have a funnel and a system set up. They track their metrics, they do all the things. The 1 million ARR, that's annual recurring revenue, in 1 hour per week community. That is the one that I came here for, because that's the person I'm mildly obsessed with. But I know from that content creator that 90% of his content is creating the systems and the back end movement so that he can get to a 1 million ARR company in 1 hour a week. We've got things like AI technology and creators. Simple funnel generates $300 a day. Money meets AI, tools and trends, navigating the AI landscape. 3 steps to monetize your audience. You bet your bottom dollar they are tracking metrics more than anyone else. And so the first 3 hires that changed everything. My webinar on the 22nd, your next hire is $20 a month. Come check it out. So you can see how even at this conference, the main overarching theme is, if your backend isn't dialed in, cleaned up, and if you're not assessing, is this working? Is this not working? And all of those questions, that's where you start. Your content isn't going to get better until your systems do. So these major content creators, we've got people in this building that have 4, 5, 10 million subscribers. And you can bet your ass they didn't just go viral one day because of a mistake. They scaled that way because they kept their workflows clean so that they can keep producing content, keep moving it, but also in those workflows, you have to build in those feedback loops where you're looking at the data and you say, okay, here's the YouTube data for this video. What happened here? What happened there? And this is where my skills in the accounting industry really come into play, because as much as people think accounting is sitting around and playing with a calculator all day, it's learning how to navigate a million different logic paths. And that's what I can bring in when we're looking at your content and your data, is what's happening and where does that tree limb shoot off to from that decision. So My philosophy is your system should be strong enough to run without you, simple enough not to break, and smart enough to scale. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's necessarily easy, but after a long life of really trying to overcomplicate just about everything, I've really learned how to piece it down into a smaller, digestible chunk so that we can make the next step forward. One of the things you'll hear around here in the FinCon halls all week is you just got to get the reps in. And that's definitely what I did for a decade in accounting. I got a lot of reps in on how shit sucks, and we're not doing that again. And I am here to preach the good news of not making shit suck anymore. So let's talk about just a couple of things that you can do for some quick wins in the ops and workflow space. Okay, calendar. I'm ADHD. I live and die by my calendar. I won't go to a funeral if it's not on my calendar. And so what can we do to get a handle on what needs to be on your calendar even? So I want all of you to open up your calendar, and even if it's, just one day, 1 week, 1 month, anything. And I want you to find one thing on your calendar that you're just like, I don't think we actually need to all meet together for this. And I want you to try and turn it into an asynchronous communication. So as an accountant, we deal a lot with the client back and forth, and that is one of the most time-consuming pieces of the accounting cycle. It's me not knowing what the hell this is, asking you, and you taking 3.5 months to get back to me about what this transaction was. And I say 3.5 months, y'all, that's a quick timeline. So what I have really tried to do is create an atmosphere of asynchronous communication. If a client wants a one-on-one with me, it's hard. It's very difficult by design. And it's because I have found that 90% of what we need to say can be a loom. And if you don't use Loom, it can be a Zoom link, a Fathom link, whatever you're using, it can be a link. And so look at your calendar, and is there more than one team meeting? Is there any group settings where we might be discussing a thing that has an outcome? So another thing is, if you do get an actual one-on-one meeting with me, there's pre-work. I will send an agenda. I will send usually a video with my thoughts to prepare you for the agenda. I expect you to review both and send me any thoughts or questions ahead of time. And that way, when we get to the actual meeting portion of it, it's quick. We can usually knock it out in 30 minutes. And that time is spent being truly collaborative. We're not catching up on, did you read that document, or did you check out that data or read those notes? No, the homework has been done. This is the interactive portion that we actually need to be on here for. Do you have a meeting with any of your senior staff? Even sometimes one-on-ones for like reviews. Maybe not like the big annual review. But if you're doing a quarterly review process, I would think that at least 1 or 2 of those quarters could very easily be transitioned to an asynchronous communication. So take a look at your calendar, look at your week and what you have going on, and pick one. And let's try and make that a thing that we no longer have to show up to, and we can just communicate the data over. Or maybe if you've got like a 2-hour meeting, let's try and pare it down to maybe like a 45-minute meeting, and get some of that pre-work going ahead of time. Okay, so the next one is going to be your delegation foundations. So a lot of times, especially when you're a solopreneur and there's not a lot of bandwidth, when you hire a service provider, you're hopefully trying to hire someone who also knows the tech that you're working on. So if you're working in Kit and you're interviewing and they say they know Flowdesk, well, I mean, if I interviewed someone who knows Kit, that they probably need to be higher up in the line than the people who know Flowdesk. Now, are the buttons generally the same? Yes. But when you come to support and troubleshooting, that is where that person is going to shine. So even if you hire someone and that's your marketing person and they know how to work the software, they still need the stuff. You know, very few social media managers or content producers will help you with the actual hit the button and record, or write the script and write the caption. They handle everything post-production. So I, as a solopreneur, found that I was stagnant in the whole process. And so I have tried probably 50 different methods of tracking my content creation. And it's been as simple as a Google Doc with a date and a bunch of words underneath. Now, that got me through some hard times when my bandwidth was so low, I just couldn't. But I got to thinking about it, and I got to thinking about how my bandwidth is already low, and I don't want to do this thing that I'm pushing myself to move forward through. Why don't I make it easier? How can I make this a process that is more enjoyable? And so I actually, as a systems person, it is not my job to tell you that my systems are the only systems. I have a vast network of other systems creators and professionals, and I actually reached out to one of my favorite content creators, Ashley at Systems Over Stress. I purchased her Content Hub template and Airtable, and hot holy damn, it changed my fucking life. I not only made the process of doing this hard thing more enjoyable, but going through the workshop with her taught me how to use Airtable, which is something that I was literally banging my head on a desk about. And since going through that one workshop, I have absolutely gone feral in Airtable, and only a real nerd is going to tell you something like that. But sometimes what you learn out of the thing isn't quite what you came here to learn, but it expands your reach in these other areas that you can also feel like a pressure relief valve happening, okay? So I have a Delegation Foundations webinar on October 22nd, And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up a custom GPT that takes your brain dump of notes and turns it into a clean SOP that you can start delegating to people. So you can hire your social media manager, you can give her your Airtable base with all of the things beautifully categorized, but they still need to know how to get it from point A to point B, and this is what your SOP does. So that's the part that holds a lot of people back is, here's my content, get it done. But you don't give them the process. You don't give them the framework. You don't give them, like, this is how I write. This is what I sound like. This is what you need to do. And I'm helping you solve all of those problems with a very easy AI solution. I give you everything you need, and you walk away from a live implementation webinar with a thing ready to go. So if you are trying to delegate things off your plate, content creation is a big one here, but this works. I mean, in accounting, I wrote these for every client. All of my clients have, we reconcile the bank account, we check the chart of accounts, we do these basic things, but everyone has those specific buttons you gotta press. And so every single one of my clients has a custom month-end close SOP that expands on those basic principles of like reconcile the bank accounts. Okay, it sounds simple. You get in there and try it and let me know how it goes. So then we have a tech and tools audit. A lot of times people will sign up for tech because it's fun, it's flashy, it's pretty, it's new, it's half off. That's me. And it's not the right tech. It doesn't talk to your other tech. The buttons are clunky. Maybe it has way too many features. Maybe it doesn't have enough features. And you end up piecing together things that worked that day, but 3 months down the line, we have a bunch of clanky things that are just kind of like chugging along, holding on for dear life. So let's also do a tech and tools audit. Do your programs natively integrate with each other? As a systems and operations person, I actually don't use Zapier at all in my business right now. It's on the list, but for $50 a month, I'm going to need more than what I've been able, to brainstorm in there. Because most of my tools have built-in native integrations, and those are just going to be usually cleaner, smoother, and a little more effortless than setting up things through an external third party like Zapier and 8N and all of those things. All right, so this week I'm here to get ideas, find partners, meet people with cool, interesting tech that I can help you find them. I've been giving out lots of unsolicited ops advice, and so far it's been well received. And so I hope to come away with more solutions that I can quickly get my clients in contact with. As a systems person, it helps to just have, that running list of shit that works in my brain. And so I'm looking for more things to add to that while I'm here at FinCon. So just remember, all this is great, but if your backend breaks while you're at FinCon, you need to call me, because that can't happen. You should be able to come to a conference and build your brand and your business without having to come home to everything broken, clients have emailed, your team's lost, and that is avoidable, it's plannable, and I'm one of those people who help make that happen. So you can come to FinCon confidently that you're not gonna come back to a desk full of shit. How many of us have not gone on vacation because coming back is like worse and gives you so much anxiety that you can't even enjoy your vacation? Yeah, fuck that. We are fixing it. So, all right, follow along. I will be sharing more as I explore Portland. I'm immersing myself. We're going on bike rides to dinner tonight, and I have met some really wonderful people. I've already made some really cool connections, and I'm just really looking forward to learning everything I can and bringing it back to help all my people. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. Here's my face. And we'll see you next time when we're fixing the next flow.